So today we're going to be talking about these new Expo application services that have been launched by the Expo team. They're namely the Build and Submit services, and this was launched on the 15th of December. This is a blog post by Brent, one of their lead developers, and here it talks about how these two new services are part of their new cloud services that are coming in shortly. So we're going to be talking about what this EAS Build service is, what the Submit service is, what the limitations of these services are, and how they're different from the existing Build services. So let's talk about the EAS Build service. So those of you that have been building apps with the managed workflow, you've probably used the Expo build command to build your iOS or Android apps, but you're probably aware that that's only possible when you're using the managed workflow. It's not possible to build out your bare React Native apps. The cool thing here is that with this particular EAS Build service, you'll now be able to build out your bare workflow apps. Along with that, you'll also be able to build out any vanilla React Native app that you've created, whether or not it uses any of the Expo SDKs. So just like Expo Build, this EAS Build service will be able to manage your signing credentials automatically. Another new feature that this has is the feature for internal distribution. So earlier you had to set this up using the App Store, but now you can just do it through Expo, which is fairly nice. The current status of the EAS Build service is that it works best with React Native apps that are built with the bare workflow. If you're using a managed workflow right now, it's recommended that you eject out of it and then use EAS Build to build out your app. However, in 2021, we can expect full support for the managed workflow. So that means that shortly we should be getting support for building out with the managed workflow as well, which is nice. Another important feature here is that the EAS Build service will help you build out smaller APKs and binaries. This has probably been a complaint with all Expo users that the app sizes are really big. But if you can see here, there's been a tweet also by Evan where he talks about how the size, if it was built with Expo Build iOS, would be about 55 MB. But if it's used with the EAS Build service, it's going to be stripped down to just 3.5 MB. So that's good to know. As you can see here, it does say that it is possible to use the EAS Build service with managed apps, but they haven't really figured out how to include the native runtime environment inside it right now, which they'll probably fix in the coming months. So as of now, it's better to use the bare workflow to build your app using the EAS Build service. Now let's talk about the EAS Submit service. So earlier you had to actually build out your app but then submit it to the App Store yourself, but now the EAS Submit service is going to help you do that. When you run EAS Submit, your app binary will be first uploaded to EAS, which is their server, and then submitted to the respective app store from there. They'll also be providing you troubleshooting help in case you have any issues in submitting your app to the store. There's an example given here where the user forgets to add the privacy policy. So that's further going to make it easier for you to submit apps with EAS. But the question here is, how is this different from the current build service basically? So here they tell you that Expo is actually the open source project, whereas Expo Application Services is the cloud service, which is probably going to be paid. You don't need to use EAS if you're using Expo. It's just an add-on. It's going to help you streamline your build process. Also, like I told you earlier, it says you'll be able to take advantage of EAS with any React Native project, whether or not it uses Expo's open source tools. So this is a really, really big thing. So how does it really compare to the current build service? Basically, if you're using the managed workflow and you're building out apps and you're fairly happy, you don't need to use EAS. You can continue using that and they're going to be providing services indefinitely to that. They've pointed that out here. And in order to reduce the confusion between the EAS services and the current build services, they're going to start calling the current build updates and notification as classic services. So anytime you're going to be doing a normal build, it's going to be a classic upbuild. If you're going to be using the EAS build service, it's going to be a regular build or the new build. They also point out here that EAS is where they're going to be putting in most of their efforts next year. So they would like you to use this. And this is where they're going to be bringing out new features and new updates. So what will EAS services cost to use? There is going to be a free tier. We'll have a look at the pricing right now. And they'll also be announcing further pricing once the preview graduates in 2021. What does this mean for people who are already using Expo developer services? Well, your plan is already going to be updated to the EAS priority plan and you won't have to do anything. You can start using the new services immediately. Okay, that brings us to how can you actually use the build and submit service right now. For that, let's head over to the pricing section. So here in the pricing section, there's one free tier and there's one priority tier, which is the $29 per month tier. Apart from the regular Expo services, if you come down here, we have the preview features. So it shows here that the EAS build, submit and update are currently available only in the priority plan. But there's a note here at the bottom, which talks about how after graduating from preview, which is expected early 2021, these services will be available under the free plan. Service usage limitations under each plan will apply. You'll probably have some limitations, but at least you'll be able to build using the free plan as well. Lastly, we should always talk about the limitations of this particular service. So let's have a look at the limitations section. So as we discussed, the managed workflow support is early. It's not recommended for production as of now. They're still working on it. And soon, hopefully, that is sorted out. One important thing here is this one, which is only single target iOS apps are supported. It's fairly common for people to split up their workflows into different targets as development and production. So if that's the case for you, you will not be able to build out your app using the Expo EAS build service. There's also limited dependency caching for iOS apps. So basically, it can take a slightly longer time for your iOS builds to process, which should be resolved shortly as well. As of now, the software runtime environment has fixed versions for each software. You can have a look at it here in the build server infrastructure if it's affecting your build in any which way, but these will also become customizable in the near future. Also, setting environment variables is not directly supported on the EAS server. There is a workaround given here within which you can create an extra file and load your variables in there, and that should work. You can have a look at this section, which is the environment variables and secret section under the EAS build. Lastly, your maximum build duration is of 60 minutes. In case you need to exceed that, you can always contact the Expo team and I'm sure they'll try and help you out. So that was a quick roundup of the Expo application services that were launched last week. You can always head over to the documentation to read more, and I'm sure there are going to be more updates and we'll go over them as and when they come up.